Top mistakes to avoid when moving to Dubai. Now, there's so many mistakes that anyone can make when they move anywhere in the world. So I wanted to highlight a few which really annoy me when they happen because it's really, in some cases, sad to see. Never pay somebody before you move here, okay? And what I mean by that is, in some unfortunate cases, and bearing in mind this happens all over the world on a regular basis, but you see people find something phenomenal, you know, like an apartment that they need to rent because they're rushing around. They're like, where can I live? Where can I live? They go onto Butler or they go onto an unverified site that they find this amazing rental property that looks too good to be true, probably is. And then the owner of that property, the owner, asks for a pre-deposit to go and do a viewing, and you know, you send them a couple of thousand dirhams, 3,000, 5,000, because they're putting pressure on you. They're saying it's going to go now, it's going to go, and you're like, I need to do it, I need to find a place to live, and this is a great price. You send them the money, gone. It does happen, unfortunately. I mean, listen, I've lived in a few different places now and it happens everywhere, you know. People just get that sort of rushed feeling that they need to make a deposit because they don't want to lose it, and yeah, they lose money. This is very easily avoidable, by the way. You just don't give anyone any money before you actually go and meet the person or actually go and see the apartment. And if it's a case where you feel like you've got nowhere to live when you go to Dubai and you really need to get this thing done, trust me, the money that you're going to spend on a hotel for 3 days while you're doing viewings is going to be probably a lot less than it would be if you pay somebody a 5,000 to 10,000 dirham deposit, which is like £1,000 or £2,000. Okay, so that's my tip number one. Okay, another tip, when you come here, there's a good chance that you're going to be renting out short term and, you know, you're going to have to pay a deposit before you go in. That's fine. Everyone has to pay a pre-deposit before they go into an apartment, wherever it is. To be honest, that's wherever you go, really. But for example, if you're going on Airbnb, you're getting somewhere for a month or 3 months, whatever it is, you generally have to pay a deposit. Now, one thing I've learned is that nobody likes giving back deposits, okay? So people will try their hardest to not give the deposit back. I've actually lost a couple of thousand dirhams, not that much, but still enough to piss me off, basically, because they want to take your deposit. Now, I'm not saying everyone is like this, but it's just, I've seen some cases where the deposits don't get given back, including myself, and you didn't even do anything to the place. I remember there was a light in the place I was renting, and I switched it off, and it was like a clay or something. I touched it and it just fell apart. They tried to tell me that that was me, and I was like, man, that was not me. And I lost my shit, to be honest. But eventually they did come to some sort of agreement, and then they took a little bit off still. That annoyed me that it happened, but you know, at least I got a majority of my deposit back. Now, again, this doesn't happen all the time, and the way to avoid this is ask for some sort of written confirmation. Number one, that you paid the deposit, and number two, of, you know, itemized things within the place, and also, you know, what the deposit is going to, you know, entail if something happens. You know, what's it going to cover? You know, for some people, to lose a deposit, it's a lot, right? And, you know, if you're rushing into a place, you often don't even care. You're just like, here's the deposit, I'm done, all right? But to be a little bit smarter, I always advise to get something in writing, because that piece of writing, you know, you can hold people liable for it, and it's, you know, writing letters and emails and stuff, they actually go very far in Dubai. They're not disregarded like in the UK. So make sure you get that. Okay, number three, don't move to an area, and I'm talking long-term here. Don't move to an area long-term and sign a long-term contract before you've at least lived there, commuted to work, get to know the area, figured out where your friends are. Because there's nothing worse than go into an area because maybe it's well priced and you get a good, you know, value for money, but then you realize very quickly after living there for 30 days that you absolutely hate it, and you've just signed a 1-year contract that you can't get out of. So I always advise, like, go and live there for like a month, go and do an Airbnb. Yes, it's going to be more expensive, but that money that you're going to spend on that, you know, is going to avoid you being stuck somewhere for 12 months that you absolutely hate. You know, simple things like getting deliveries, getting water delivered, getting your meals delivered, whatever it is. Some areas, for example, you know, are quite far out. Damac Hills too, you know, parts of Dubai South, there are limited deliveries. For some people, that's absolutely fine. They don't mind doing shopping. But for some people like myself, I couldn't deal with, you know, not being able to get things delivered. I've got used to that now. So I would not live somewhere where I can't get, you know, a lot of stuff delivered. Now, I'm not saying Damac Hills 2 or Emaar South don't deliver things. I just know from experience of speaking to friends that things don't get delivered as frequently, or even there's not a lot of choice, for example. But you can avoid that by just living there for a month. And if you do like it, then go and live there permanently. Okay, another tip, don't be impatient when you come to Dubai for the first time. And what I mean by that is a lot of people, they come here, they expect massive things straight away. They expect to just hit the ground running. Obviously, the 1% do, but the 99% don't. There's a lot to adapt to. The weather, the lifestyle, the cost, so much more. And when people come here and they just think that they're going to take over Dubai from day one, and then they don't do it, they very quickly get brought back down to a level where they just, reality hits a little bit, it gets a bit overwhelming. And to be honest, they don't give it enough time. I've seen that happen a lot. I mean, I was one of the people, I'm going to go to Dubai, I'm going to make millions straight away, and blah, blah, blah. Listen, it takes time to build your network. It takes time to build your net worth, whatever. It depends what position you're starting in. But assuming you're just starting off in a new role, be patient. Make sure, which is going to lead me into the next one, make sure you've got enough money and so forth, and you'll be fine. And then the last tip that I'm going to give you is financially planning. Now, I say this in a few of my videos. It's all about how you plan your finances in order to make it work from the start. Because I've seen so many people, they don't come here with enough money. I mean, if there was a figure, I would probably say £7,000 to £15,000. Depends. If you're on a salary, it's a little bit different. But if you're coming into like a role where it's commission based, it's going to take you way longer to actually get your first paycheck. For example, you sell off plan as a speciality in the real estate market. It might take you, let's say, 2 months to do a deal, and then 3 months or 4 months for the developer to actually pay you out, right? So at that point, you're like 5-6 months without money. You're really starting to think, what am I going to do now? Because I've still got bills to pay. So you just need to financially plan, make sure you're not overspending, make sure, you're really keeping enough money in the bank to survive and actually, pay your expenses. Don't go shopping all the time. Don't do things that are just blowing your money for no reason. And if you can financially plan, you're going to be absolutely fine. So these are the mistakes to avoid when going to Dubai, and the tips that I've given inside of there should be very valuable to yourself if you are coming for the first time. But trust me, if you can avoid all of those, you can hit the ground jogging and you can get over here in the right mindset, you're going to do fantastic. You're going to love it. It's a great place. It gets hot in the summer, so no need probably for any jeans. I mean, a couple of pairs is all right, but definitely no winter coats or anything like that, because you're not going to get cold. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you need any more information regarding purchasing real estate, all my links are below, and I'll see you in the next video.